House Speaker Nancy Pelosi held a press conference Wednesday with the congressional delegation that traveled to the Indo-Pacific region. During the briefing, Congresswoman Suzan DelBene discussed some of the objectives for visiting the region. The Washington Democrats said that the goals included building, quote, stronger economic ties throughout the region, as well as, quote, boosting security and strengthening democracy. Pelosi and the congressional delegation accompanying her met with Taiwanese officials during their trip to Asia. During the trip to Taiwan, Speaker Pelosi painted the visit as a choice between, quote, democracy and autocracy, and said the U.S. was determined to, quote, preserve democracy in Taiwan and the rest of the world.
I want to turn it over to Suzan DelBene, the Vice Chair of the Ways and Means Committee.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So I'll use your word, Chairman Natano. I'm Suzan DelBene, Vice Chair of the Ways and Means Committee from the great state of Washington, and Chairman Meeks wanted me to point out that the Mariners beat the Yankees last night. It was really an honor to be part of this journey with Speaker Pelosi and our entire delegation. And while it was the first time I visited, I think, every country since I've been a member of Congress, I have visited the region many times in my former career in business and technology, and I know firsthand the very close partnership that we have, the economic partnership that we have in innovation, and the long-term partnerships that's been there that we can build on. In fact, over half of all global economic growth is expected in this region over the next 30 years. So it was a primary goal of our delegation, and the Speaker talks about security, economy, and governance. On economy, important goal of our delegation was to talk about how we build stronger economic ties throughout the region. Increasing our economic presence is clearly key to advancing other goals that we have in terms of boosting security and strengthening democracy. So we should be strengthening partnerships and throughout the region with like-minded countries, and we should also be building on the partnerships we have. I think it's very, very important that we are collectively rule makers in the region, not rule takers. This is especially true when it comes to areas where we don't have strong international norms and standards, such as the rules that govern our digital economy or consumer rights in the digital economy. In our meetings, we discussed the opportunities of the new economic initiatives like the Indo-Pacific Economic Framework or the U.S.-Taiwan Initiative for 21st Century Trade, and how we can continue to build on those partnerships to address and strengthen supply chains so our economy, our collective economies are more resilient in the face of a pandemic, wars, or other future shocks. And we also discussed the CHIPS and Science Act that President Biden signed into law yesterday. Another key piece of legislation to strengthen our supply chains and create the resiliency and redundancy that's so important, and obviously to make sure we have increased manufacturing capacity right here in the United States. And it's critical. We talked about, semiconductors are in everything, not just things that we think of traditional technology from, cell phones or computers, but washing machines to ultrasound equipment to trucks and airplanes. The bill also boosts federal investments in research and innovation so that we can continue to lead the way in years to come, and that's an opportunity that we can do throughout Asia also. Our overarching goal is to work together towards shared prosperity, and the Speaker talked about shared prosperity a lot on our trip, and how we can use our innovative capabilities to solve new problems, like to address climate change, to advance energy security, to bring down inflation, and to promote equality. So it was a rich conversation, important conversation, one that we will continue moving forward in conjunction with the administration, with Secretary Raimondo and Ambassador Tai to continue to build our partnership there. So I want to now introduce a member of the House Intelligence Committee, a proud representative from Chicago. I think everyone we met knows that Raja Krishnamurthy is from Chicago. So let me turn it over to Congressman Krishnamurthy.